Hello and a very warm welcome to the Saturday show on the Grassroots show. So hopefully everyone's enjoying themselves now. We put a post out this morning and it's basically thanking all the committees at Grassroots Football for all the work that they do, voluntary work at bringing teams together, putting the fixtures on, getting the referees together. What more could you say? I think a big round of applause is most welcome from all the committee of the grassroots football world, because at the end of the day, I suppose without the league committees, there wouldn't be a league. You wouldn't need referees. You wouldn't need teams. Everyone would be playing in the park, having a little kick around. So well done to all you volunteers who work on the committees all over the nation and have done a splendid job bringing football teams together and getting your leagues full. It's hard work because you have to deal with your county FAs, your local authorities, putting games on and off, collecting the money in to pay affiliation fees. So really, you are the masters, because without your performances and your contribution at grassroots football, well, I don't think many teams would be available to play in a league whatsoever, would they? So well done across the nation to all the committees who are putting in the hard work, getting these teams going. And we know there's one or two games still to remain to be played, and I think the finals probably are all tomorrow. And we know Sheffield and District Junior Sunday League have a massive presentation, and I think that's over a week because it's that big. That's how big their presentation is. So it must be unreal for the committee members there to do some organising. So I do think appreciation is really welcome there, because I know a lot of league committees have presentations on the day, and it's all over, done and dusted, and they can go home and start preparing for the following season as well. Now, is there any rooms in your leagues? Get in touch with us and we'll put it out, certainly put it out, mail@don'texttheline.com. Teams that you're available for 27-28 season. How time flies, dear me. Also, from the 11th to the 17th, it's Mental Health Awareness Weekend. Week, and that is next week. It really is, from the 11th. Dear me. Oh, you really do need to keep in touch with these things, see updated, but it's all over social media. We put the post out as well. One step ahead on mental health, grassroots football. Any kids out there, mental health struggles, well, we're aiming to put these things right. We're teaming up with Urban Health UK, and we're going to put things together. Honestly, we'll have Dan in the studio very soon indeed. Dan Hogan, that is, and he and myself are hoping to team up with one or two other organisations and make a difference, because kids will have mental health struggles out there. And lo and behold, this is what Don't Cross the Line is all about, because we have the minority of verbally abusive spectators and parents and coaches and managers who will go out there hell-bent on making it difficult for the kids on the field of play, for the referees, and also for decent parents, spectators who just want to come and applaud and support and encourage the kids to play football. Now, that will do damage. We know that. Verbal abuse, aggressive behaviour, racist comments and bullying. If a kid has mental health struggles and they're out there playing football, which is great, it's keeping their mind off things, and that's all they have to look forward to, then the pressure of the abuse coming from the sidelines must be intense to that child, wondering what they're going through in life, wondering why parents are screaming and shouting, spectators having a go at the referee, having a go at other kids, shouting and screaming because they hadn't put a right ball in. They should have scored, they should have shot, they should have passed it instead of dribbling with it. You know, all this pressure mounts up and adds to their struggles. And they may not want to play football or officiate, because the majority, I suppose, are kids now officiating grassroots football. So if a referee as well is taking a lot of stick from the sidelines, that's not good either, because they may walk away from the game as well. And this is what we're trying to say. So in conjunction with Mental Health Awareness Week, we are bombarding the grassroots football world, and we're getting, if you can get behind us, one step ahead on mental health. And we thank the National Lottery yet again for helping us to put together the likes of the studio to try and give kids a voice, to give them more confidence. And that's what we're going to do. Honestly, we've got things planned very, very soon indeed. And we'll talk about that as soon as we get down in the studio and what we're going to try and achieve and what we're going to make and help and how we're going to help these kids to achieve their goal in life. Give them more confidence if we can. But they're not going to get that confidence if they're out playing football or taking part in any other sport and activity. And we've got irate parents, spectators, coaches on the sidelines who are hell-bent on making it difficult for the children, for the opposition, for the officials, making it their goal because they want to achieve a win. And it is all about winning. That is winning at all costs. And we know there's coaches out there who just want to get the kids together to let them play and leave the referees alone to officiate the game themselves. But we have the minority who will go out and stop their game if they can. It's not good. And I, appeal to coaches and managers, if they're not irate themselves, to do something about it. And the majority of managers, if they have an irate parent or spectator within the team, the chances are that their child is very good at football or whatever the activity that they're participating in. They're very good at it. And that manager or coach do not want to lose that child. They want to keep that child because they think that child is the backbone of their team. And without them, the team wouldn't go anywhere. And that's unfortunately, it's pitiful, isn't it? It really is, because what do managers and coaches get other than big egos to say, that was my team, I put them together? But the majority of these managers and coaches haven't put that team together, because what they've done, scoured the rest around the country, their own city, to get the best players if they possibly can. And they try and ask their friends, rather than them poach, they ask the kids to talk the other child who's good at football into playing for them and tell them how good they are and what they'll win. Why play for the team that you're not winning trophies in? And what they don't realise is the child is developing their skills right the way through with any other team, regardless of winning 10 trophies a season and saying, we are the best, we're unstoppable. I don't think football works like that, or it shouldn't work like that. I think credit where credit's due. If you've got a coach who are taking the children through and they're not performing well and they're continuing week in, week out, you'll see a difference in those kids, like I did with mine, DXTL, under sevens. When I got them at 6 years of age, they were everywhere. And then you get a child who comes and joins your team, who seems to be, the backbone of the team, but still developing. So they develop together and they go through a season. Now, when I had them at 6 years of age, it was a nightmare. They were running backwards, sideways, falling over. The ball was dribbling around them rather than them dribbling around the ball. It didn't make sense. And you've got to coach them. You're going the wrong way, face the other way. You've got to try, pass the ball. And all the coaches, that's a dream, because you see the development when they put their kit on for the first time and they come out as a team. And then they start realising what they've got to do. to get it's probably a little bit embarrassing to watch them, but it's funny, it's great, because you feel sorry for the kids because they look that clumsy, but you're realising that is part of development, because in the child's mind, they think they're doing good, but they haven't developed their skills yet. They're still thinking about what they can do. And the concentration basically is just on that ball, keep hold of the ball. They have no idea who's next to them. Why should they pass the ball? They're trying to keep that ball at their foot. And I don't think it's because it's greediness. It's not. It's because they're developing and wanting to learn. And then you'll hear a coach, and then obviously you try and keep the parents, you say to them, don't be shouting at them, because it puts them off. It confuses them, especially at that age, coming up to sevens, under sevens. And yet you see development in those kids week in, week out. They get better. They start learning how to tackle. They start learning how to do throw-ins when it was throw-ins, kick-ins now. Everything is probably hard at that age. You all go back when you were children, but you can hardly remember when you were 6 or 7 what you were doing. But you still have those memories, and those memories could be poor memories, good memories within the sporting game itself, because you didn't have, or we didn't have the activities that these kids have got now. We didn't have the likes of places to go, tournaments to visit, coaches to go on, weekend like out tournaments to enter. We did have tournaments, but it was a trek to get there. If you didn't have a ground, it's one of those things, and the facilities now that they have are just unreal. So it helps the kids to develop. They'll get more games on the 3G to play football on. Because you can say they're all weather. The pitches were muddy, they were brilliant. Love to play in mud. Love to play when it was raining, slide tackling. And when you put a slide tackle in, you'd end up, you keep going. You're on your backside or your back, and you kept sliding, going past the man, whatever it was. But when you won the ball and covered in mud, it was brilliant. And I'm literally saying you were covered in mud. And you were going home with your kids and your mums, your dad's looking at the kid going, dear me, and laughing about it. And I always remember one so proud, and they always used to use muddy kits. I won't say the name yet because it's free advertising, and I think a lot of people remember. And that's what it was. That's what it was all about. Just developing our own little skills as well. We didn't have the facilities, and probably the coaches didn't have the facilities to give you better coaching. That was the way it was. It really was, But now, the facilities you have, the cones, the skittles, the hurdles, you name it, everything that's developed over the years makes that child a better player. But there's one person in the middle who can also make that child the best ever. And that is the manager or the coach, whichever your class has, who will go on and encourage those kids to play, develop the skills, tell them how, when to run, when to pass the ball, when to kick it in, when to shoot, how to take a penalty, but also attitudes. They have to think before they make that fatal mistake of shouting, having a go at someone, threatening, pushing. You've got to drum it in as a good coach, as a good manager, drum it in to the child that having a good attitude makes you a better player. Listening makes you a better player. Put your skills into practice makes you a better player. What the coach has told you to do or asked you to do, it makes you a better player. And they're dream coaches, they're dream managers. That's what you want. And they get on great with the parents, and the parents can't thank you enough because you're developing their children. That's what it's all about. That is grassroots football at its best. And also, you're developing the parents and trying to give them good attitudes, because what you say to them, let them play. Don't have a go at the referee if you can. And I think that's majority of managers who just get the kids in a football team and will not talk to the parents. Those parents are shouting and screaming. They don't tell them to calm it down. That was my worst, well, one of my pet hates was the parents over shouting and telling them what to do. And I always used to have to approach them at half time, tell them to calm it, or if I heard anyone shouting at the referee, I was always over there and I was telling them to calm that as well, because you get nowhere shouting and screaming at the referee. It's not good. It really isn't good. And the kids overhear that as well. So we all go back to the mental health struggles that the kids are having. And people will tell you, people will come over to your parents and they'll tell you that they've been diagnosed with autism, they're very withdrawn, things like that. That's mental health. That is, you know, stress at its best. And we've got to suss that out as coaches, as managers, because first and foremost, the parents are the people they look up to, aren't they? They're the role models. And then the coaches, because the kids tell the coaches more than they tell the parents. And they put more trust in the coaches than the parents. Once they get to know you, we all know that. Managers, coaches, please, Mal@don'ttexttheline.com. Get in touch with me. Tell us your stories. Tell us your stories. No, they've got to be a good little story of how the child trusts you and what they're telling you and what they're putting together, and then you have to go back to the parents and they look at you and they go, never told me that. And it's always the way, it really is. And you just go, well, there you go, I've got more trust than you. And you have a laugh and a bit of banter with the parents, but they're made up because you're getting the best out of their child. They couldn't do it. You can. And they listen to you. And the worst thing in the world is when you've got the parents, and this is what they do, and it probably works, and it's a good thing because they love the football that much, getting out and playing with their friends and enjoying it, that if their attitude is poor at home, then he needs a little bit of punishment or a little talking to. So they'll go to the coach or the manager and they'll tell them just how they've been behaving at home. And if it's good, if it's bad, then you get onto that and you just say, you've got to behave with your mum and dad, your parents, your nan, granddad. You've got to behave with them because we could stop you playing football. You don't want that. And that hurts, because the child starts thinking and going, I don't want to be stopped playing for the football team. So you just say it once, but you don't continue and continue because you know how much they love it and it hurt them if they don't turn up to football. So what we're asking over the 11th to the 17th, and we continue, it's on the awareness, it's Mental Health Week, putting that in your mind, that you've got to realise that kids could be suffering and could have mental health struggles there, and they need support. I'm watching Chris Kirkland and listening to Chris Kirkland and how he got involved in painkillers, things like this, and what it done to his mental health. And it nearly destroyed him, literally. And he got out of it, but he'll always look back on that, tell you the story. And there is people out there who will probably get the same, like probably addiction to what he's got or had, who just can't cope with it. Chris was lucky and got out of it. And you just have to look and see Chris Kirkland, have a little listen to him. And hopefully we're going to have Chris Kirkland in. We'll discuss that because we want to get the message out to kids that there is support out there. There really is. And we are your supporters. Big style with Don't Cross the Line, Heart of Gold initiatives, and One Step Ahead on mental health. And we're here to make a difference. And if you parents are struggling as well and wondering what's happening, get in touch and we'll put you in touch with someone who can help you and the children as well. So One Step Ahead on mental health. Make a note of it. You can always get in touch with us, Mal@don'ttexttheline.com. If you're a little bit worried about your child when they're going out or staying in, And that is concern if they're staying in and don't want to go out, then there's something not right there. And I taught at my Heart of Gold choir, and honestly, the stories they come out with about friends and friendship, it was heartwarming the way they were thinking, but they understood when they sung the song Lean On Me. And that's what we'll be releasing again to make a difference, because it's mental health awareness. We are supporting big style with Don't Cross the Line and Urban Health UK. We all want you to get involved with us and make a difference, because we are part of Grassroots. We've been bringing communities together since 2003, and we're not going to stop. We've had our Respect Awareness Weekend, and that in itself is part of mental health, because if you've got screaming parents, the kids don't like it, and they struggle more with their mental health and their attitudes. So you can help us make a difference. Get in touch with yourself, Mal at don'ttexttheline.com. Add me as a friend on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all the social network sites, and we'll go from there. But watch out for us. Watch out for Urban Health UK. Watch out for Bypass. We are there to make a difference and give you a little bit of confidence that we can give your child a voice and a bit of confidence back as well to participate in the sporting events, and also offer them something to do to keep them busy and active. And that makes a massive difference in itself, believe me. Thanks very much for tuning into our second show on the Saturday. Enjoy the weather if you can. We'll be back again tomorrow around about 4 p.m. Come on, you mighty Reds. Let's beat Chelsea today. And let's see where we go. We'll be qualified for the Champions League. We need 4 points mathematically to make that impossible not to qualify. We need a big win. Can we do it? Remains to be seen. We'll be back tomorrow, as I say, around about 5 p.m. For myself, Mal Lee, and all the team here, the Grassroots Show, Don't Cross the Line, Heart of Gold Initiative, one step ahead on mental health. No ref, no game. Don't cross the line. We'll see you tomorrow. Cheerio for now. Enjoy the rest of the day.